order. Township of Monroe Planning Board meeting, May 25, 2023. It's now 6:30 p.m. Please stand and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands under one nation,
indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the following. Posted on the bulletin board of the Office of Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal complex, printed in the Home News Tribune on December 30, 2022, posted on the Monroe Township website, and sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. The lawyer can take the roll.
Ms. Polidoro? Here. Mr. Rothman?
Here.
Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Ms. Brodsky?
Here,
Mr. McGowan?
Here.
Mr. Patel?
Here.
Ms. Qureshi? Councilman Van Zora?
Here.
Chairman Gaffrey?
Here. Okay, Laura circulated earlier in the week the minutes of our last meeting, which was 2 months ago, March 23, 2023. Is there any discussion on the minutes?
I move we accept.
Okay, is there a second?
Second. Sorry.
No need to apologize.
Can't get it all.
You got a very polite phone there. It's nice.
Okay, let's do a voice vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, the minutes are accepted. Tonight we have one application and two affirmations. The affirmations would be relatively quick. We're going to move forward with those first and then do the applications second. The first reaffirmation is PB 120718, Marie Celesta and Fernando Adelino. Yeah, Council.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, your professional staff, Peter Klauser with the firm Howard and Pape on behalf of the Adelinos. We are requesting a reaffirmation of the subdivision so that the deeds may be recorded with an accurate date on them. As you're aware, there's a limitation in the state statute as to when you have to record the deeds by. This is one of many applications that I'm dealing with now and lawsuits that I'm dealing with now that just get swallowed up in the pandemic, not only the timing wise, but also just getting the permits and processes. However, we're 100% done. We actually have submitted signed deeds to the board. They've been approved by your engineer, your attorney. They're ready to just be signed. I just need to have the date updated so I don't have any issues with title in the future. So that's all that I'm asking for. And I will submit to Laura fresh sets. They're a little bit dated, the ones that are submitted, so I'll submit fresh sets should the board reaffirm the approval. Zoning's the same, condition of the property is the same. There was some houses being built across the street. I didn't go out there, but I know that they were being built, and they're all the same. That's what the lot designation that the board relied upon. So all of that remains the same.
Any questions? Any discussion? Is there a motion pending to accept?
So moved.
Our attorney agrees this is appropriate.
Yes. You got to file with each within 190 days. As explained, it can happen. I would recommend that you pass.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Polidoro?
yes,
Mr. Rothman?
Yes.
Mr. Riggs?
Yes.
Ms. Brodsky?
yes,
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Councilman Van Zora?
Yes.
Chairman Gaffrey?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Approved.
Good luck.
Thanks. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Toto?
Very quickly. I like that.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
I just want to announce
Oh,
this
sure,
for the
of
record
course.
first. This is a reaffirmation, PB 1198-17, Vasily Shafar. Mr. Toto.
Correct, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see everyone again. Walter Toto on behalf of Vasily Shafar. This reaffirmation is embarrassingly completely on me and my office. Actually, me. I can't even blame the office. We were here in May of last year for a reaffirmation. The board approved it unanimously. 190 days went by, as Mr. Condrey just said, without the deeds being recorded. The confusion, I think, was rooted in a county deed of dedication being recorded, and somehow internally we thought that deeds were recorded. Was not the case. The client was under the wrong impression, didn't contact me or discuss the details, applied for permits. The building department caught it. Mr. Razamowitz and I have spoken. We have to do a compliance review. I think we're pretty much done, but I would need some additional time to record the deed. So I'm here on bended knee asking the board for the reaffirmation. The zoning has not changed. No details of the approval have changed, and that's where we are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any discussion, anything, Terry, that you want to add?
No.
Okay, is there a motion to be made?
I'd make a motion to approve, please.
Second.
Ms. Polidoro?
Yes.
Mr. Rothman?
Certainly.
Mr. Riggs?
Yes.
Ms. Brodsky?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Councilman Van Zora?
Yes.
Chairman Gaffrey?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone enjoy the holiday weekend. Stay safe. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Mr. Weiner, are you ready to proceed? Want to answer?
So, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to quickly put on the record, the attorney appearing tonight here for this application, PB 1254-22, represented me in the past in 2 different real estate transactions. It doesn't impact my ability to be impartial in this matter. I have no connection to the applicants, but out of an abundance of caution, just putting that on the record for the board. Thank you.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll proceed. I'll just call this, it's PB 1254-22, Joyce R. Williams, request for minor subdivision of bulk variance 20 Avenue C and 22 Avenue C. Mr. Weiner, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jay Weiner of the firm of Weiner & Weiner in East Brunswick, New Jersey. As indicated, the application is for a minor subdivision, but there's some, includes some bulk variances. It's basically a lot line adjustment involving 2 neighbors and no one else. Essentially, it's an even land swap, basically evening out the lots for reasons that the property owners will explain. Our presentation, basically, I would like to present each of the applicant as well as the adjoining property owner who has also consented and signed on the application, as well as we have an additional expert witness who will testify both as to the engineering and planning. So if I may begin, I just want to confirm with Mr. Convery that the board has received our notices and is jurisdiction for this tonight.
I am in receipt of your notices. They appear to be in order. If there were any problem, I'll report back to the board. But it's acceptable as I see it tonight.
Thank you. For the first witness, if I can call, is Ms. Joyce Williams. Joyce, if you want. Whichever chair is easier for you.
Excuse me. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so let me go. Thank you.
Okay, move the microphone closer to you.
Joyce, if you could just spell your first and last name for the record and state your address.
Joyce Williams, JoyceWilliams, and I live at 22 Avenue C, Monroe Township, New Jersey, 08831.
Ms. Williams, you're the applicant in this matter, correct? Can you, for the benefit of the board, explain why you're seeking this application, minor subdivision to adjust the lot line?
Okay, I bought my property 25 years ago, and it was from family. My property and the property next door were all family-owned originally. And so I bought property. We knew there was a problem with the lot line because at one point it's 9 foot from my house, and the other side, I think it's 6 foot from their back door. But I was under the assumption when we bought that was all being taken care of by the family, and apparently it wasn't. So when the property was sold, we've been in here 2 or 3 times with the zoning department, and it was so complex we couldn't figure it out ourselves. So this time I said, we're going to get an attorney to do it. I'm not getting any younger, and I don't plan on leaving a problem for my executor to take care of and my estate to be held up. So I want to get this straightened out. All it's doing is it's doing this. It's straightening out so that I have a square property line.
And as it exists now, are there any issues, well, I don't want to say issues like a problem, but do you have any concerns about why the property lines are uneven now and why it would be beneficial for you to have them square?
Well, right now the property line runs through the patio. So part of the patio actually is on Amy's side of the line. And likewise, when it gets up towards her house, it's just, we need to get it straightened out and cleared up so that there is no problem in the future with anything.
And you do realize, and it was pointed out in the planner's review letter, that the adjustment of the lot line is now going to place your shed within what is the setback, which we will actually, are going to be asking the board tonight to consider that as an additional bulk variance relief. But you and your neighbor both are aware of that change. That was part and parcel of this proposal, so it's not a surprise to either one of you, correct?
No, the shed was put in back in 1999. And at that point, because of how the lines were, we got our permits and we were within the sizing of putting it there. And of course, now with the change, that brings that line down, so it's the 2 foot closer.
Thank you.
Unless there's any other questions for Ms. Williams, I'll excuse her for now, and she'll be available if there's anything later that anyone has.
Thank you.
Our next witness, Mr. Chairman, will be Ms. Amy Bordy.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your full name and spell your last name, please.
It's Amy Forty, last name T-O-R-D.
And just move the microphone a little closer. Thank you.
Ms. Bordy, similar to what I've asked Ms. Williams, you are the other property owner whose property is affected by this proposed minor subdivision to adjust the lot. Is that correct?
That's right.
From your perspective, although there's one applicant, but you've been involved in this process as well, correct?
That's right. This is something we both want.
So, and it's something you're both in favor of, and I'm going to work a little backwards. The last question that we asked about to Ms. Williams about the shed, you're aware of that, and you don't have any issue with the shed being that close to the new property line?
I don't, because practically the way we're using, we are mutually using our properties, and we have been for the last 19 years since I've been in the house, as if the new property line existed. It's not practical for either of us to use our lots as they are now defined. I don't use the part of my yard that's up against the back of her house, and she doesn't use the part of her yard that's by my back door. Where that shed is, I've already been treating that as an acceptable position.
And
So
aside from that, you just mentioned that you've kind of informally been using it as if the lot line had been changed. Why is that? What is the hardship right now as it is?
I have a very large, irregularly shaped property, so I didn't know until the day before I closed on my house, because my property is so irregular on all sides. I didn't even realize that this was the situation. It is, no one's backyard slices a diagonal across the corner of somebody's house. It's just it's not usable the way it is right now, and we don't. Less amicable neighbors might have issues with this, because I could see people saying, Joyce could have said, I'm going to pave my driveway to 3 feet from your back door. She hasn't done that because the property line goes there. But it's not, it'll be a burden for either of us if we want to sell our homes to have this flagged for a new owner. My real estate attorney was trying to get Joyce to sign a liability waiver the day of my closing after this was disclosed to us, or the lawyer brought it to my attention for her to waive, any damage that happened to her on my property near her back door. obviously it's a legal conundrum when you're transferring the property to New York that this issue exists.
And by doing this, this would alleviate all of that,
I would-
those circumstances.
I would think so, yes.
Again, I have nothing further. If the board has any questions of Ms. Bordy, otherwise I'll keep her available if there's any questions.
Thank you.
Our next witness will be Ms. Lorelei Totten.
Laura, please swear to tell the whole
I do.
for our record, state your full name, and spell your last name.
Lorelei Totten, Crest Engineering Associates, Inc., Millstone Township, New Jersey, and it is Totten.
Okay, and you've appeared before us several times and credentials have
Yeah,
been.
at least once or twice in the past 39 years.
Yep. So your credentials are accepted.
Multiply that by
Yes.
100 and you got it.
Yes, my license is still in good standing, both planning and professional engineering.
And for the record, we would offer Ms. Totten as both an expert in planning and engineering.
Accepted.
Thank you. Ms. Totten, if you would, to start out, if you could maybe take us through the elements of the site plan and your understanding of everything and how the proposal comes about and. Sure.
Hello?
Yep.
The exhibit I have is actually the minor subdivision lot line adjustment plan dated 9/30/22 that was submitted for this application. And
That's the exact exhibit, that item that was submitted with no changes?
that is correct.
So then we don't need to mark that?
Mark A1.
If you want, we can mark that A1 with today's date and your initials.
So just to show you all on the plan in front of you, got the smaller lot that's owned by Joyce is located in the upper right-hand corner of this, and it cuts her property line, cuts across her patio, and ends up right behind the back door of Amy's property. The larger property kind of, it's not even an L, it's long, like almost like a T, a small T, goes behind Joyce's property, and obviously, as was testified to, Amy owns a corner of Joyce's patio. So there are a number of existing bulk variance conditions on Joyce's property, and they're outlined both on the plan and in the planner's letter. This proposal does not get rid of them. It makes a few of them better. It makes the lots much more practical to use. It does create a new one for the shed. But I think any detriments of the new variance for the shed is definitely way outweighed in this case by the exchange of property.
Microphone.
Can you hear me now? No, we're on. Hello, there we go. We need the echo. It's, where did we stop? So as you can see, the dots, which you probably just see as slightly dark spots there, they're approximately even. We have about 574 square feet. So I'll stay on. I guess I'll sit down now.
Lorelei.
Right, so each of these.
No, you're not.
I'm just gonna sit down. Each of the lot areas are 574 square feet plus a small fraction. So it's an even exchange, and it definitely improves the usability of the lots for future use by maybe neighbors that are not as amicable as these neighbors are. for the future. So it's my opinion that any detriments of granting these lesser variances plus the new variance are definitely outweighed by all of the planning benefits and the physical benefits of the lot layout with more rectangular properties. And I can further say that all of the little cleanup things on the engineer's letter, we can definitely take care of. We would like to file this by deed, not by plat, and he has that option in there. And I think I answered, or we, as a group, answered all the planning comments as well.
I would just want to, for the record, the proposal is not seeking to change or any existing structure or improvements, or to add any existing structure or improvements to the property.
That is correct. No physical changes whatsoever except moving the lot line, which you won't be able to see anyway.
Is there any questions of Ms. Totten?
Mark, do you have any questions?
Mr. Chairman. Now, the applicant agreed to a few comments. It's just cleaning up a couple of the notes and items on the plan. I would say that item 3C, and well, my lettering's messed up. The performance guarantees, there's no performance guarantee or certificate of insurance requirement. There's no proposed improvements. So those two are not applicable. And item 2I, concrete curbs and sidewalks. Typically, the board would require curbs and sidewalks on any new proposed development. Again, they're not proposing any development here. It's just a lot line adjustment. Frankly, I'd recommend that the board grant a waiver of that. And as far as a contribution, I don't believe a contribution would be warranted in this case. Again, there's no creation of an empty lot that may have a future home built on it. It's two existing homes. They've been there. It's simply a lot line adjustment. So that's my recommendation to the board.
For the record, we would request such waiver.
Thank you. Ms. Lorelei, just to put it on record, the rear yard setback, which was earlier 9.3, is now becoming 23.07 to the principal structure?
That is correct.
And the shed you've already talked about. Could you just put on record the building height complies with the 35 feet?
Yes, both. Neither building is over 2.5 stories, so it complies.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Questions? Second. Question. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would just add, in sum, Mr. Chairman, that we believe we've, based on the testimony of the Ms. Totten, her expert testimony, as well as the lay testimony of the two property owners, that we've established the elements for the all of the C variances, both under the Flex C standard as well as the undue hardship standard. And I think we've met all of the necessary elements to have the this lot line adjustment and minor subdivision to be approved. And we believe that the testimony shows the application satisfies all the positive and negative criteria, and we would ask that the board kindly consider granting this application.
There's nothing further. Is there a motion? Okay, so, thank you. Yep.
You want me to make a motion?
Well, we'll do it. Actually, we didn't open it to the public yet. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to be heard? Hearing none, I move that we close the public portion.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a quick question?
You may.
The property that's being adjusted, the 574.08 square foot, that is now going to be given to lot 20? Or address the 20, right? So there's nothing in that triangle below grade that's going to be inadvertently transferred to another property?
No.
It's just an even swap, triangle for triangle.
Yeah, no, I know that, but there's nothing underneath, septic tank.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that, that somebody would inadvertently just become an owner. Perfect, thank you.
You had a motion, David?
Sure. Number one, I want to mention that it's a pleasure seeing neighbors getting along as well as you do. I could easily see them fighting. And number two, I'm going to move that we approve this application.
Mr. Chairman, if I could second the motion, I would join in with Mr. Rothman and say not only should these Ms. Williams and Ms. Brody be commended for being great neighbors, but also taking the steps to address a technical problem. A lot of people would have maybe just sat on and let someone handle it in the future. So I think it's great that you're doing that. I hope that if this is approved, which I expect it to be, it'll give you some comfort knowing that others won't have to deal with it. So thank you for coming before the board.
Thank you.
So yes, that was my second.
Ms. Polidoro?
Yes.
Mr. Rothman?
Yes.
Mr. Riggs?
Yes.
Ms. Brodsky?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Councilman Van Zora?
Yes.
Chairman Gaffrey?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good luck to you, folks.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Weiner. Nice to see you.
Good to see everyone again at this point. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thanks.
Need to submit behind that exhibit or?
Or like,
Disagree.
Wait, it's good.
Okay. Okay, next on the agenda are the memorializations. We have two on tonight. PB 125322, Amazon.com Services LLC. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is there an application? A motion to be heard.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Accept, sorry.
Okay.
Ms. Polidoro?
Yes.
Mr. Rothman?
Yes.
Mr. Riggs?
Yes.
Ms. Brodsky?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Councilman Van Zora?
Yes.
Chairman Gaffrey?
Yes. Okay, the second memorialization is PB 1249-22, 49 Erickson, ERICKSON LLC. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Ms. Polidoro?
Yes.
Mr. Rothman?
Yes.
Mr. Riggs?
Yes.
Ms. Brodsky?
Yes.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Councilman Van Zora?
Yes.
Chairman Gaffrey?
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to the general public portion. Is there any members of the public present that wish to be heard? Hearing none, I move to close the public portion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, we'll move on to are there any other discussion items other than what was on the agenda tonight? Hearing none, under correspondence, I don't see anything under correspondence. Or no more. Okay, it's 6:59. I'm going to move to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All against? We're adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.